We're only a few days away until that transfer portal is closed. We got early signing day that will come up shortly thereafter. Not early signing day, but signing day that will come up there shortly after. We still got athletes that's still trying to figure it out as far as where they're going to sign and where they're going to go as far as early signing period. But there was a couple of athletes that did decide that one was going to flip, one did decide they're going to move on and go to the university that they stated that they were going to go to originally. Also, we got this madness that's going on with Texas Southern right now as far as who's going to be the next head football coach over that program. And not only that, but FSU loses out again. I mean, this is just beyond just, I don't know what to say about all of this. But we're going to have a little fun with that too. But one thing for sure, Grambling State did find their guy as far as who's going to come in and be that next head football coach over that program. And the major question that I have is, are they going to allow him the time to build the program? Or are they looking for instant success to come in because he understands how things go from being a previous coach within the program? We're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about all of those things right after this. Anywhere in the world, but you decide to come hang out with your favorite coach, Coach Walker, blow the whistle. Yes, this is another episode of Coach Walker, blow the whistle. And we're going to get into some things, guys, as I previously mentioned, just to go ahead and spark this thing off, because some of this stuff I was supposed to give to you before Christmas, and I lost the daggone files. I don't know what's going on with my equipment. I've had a couple of pieces of equipment when they act funky and funny, but I'm going to get this to you anyway because I spent a lot of time on this, and I want to share this information with you guys because I know you're like, Coach, what you got going on over there? You know, I got a couple of things brewing here and there. You know, Coach Walker just blowing the whistle on some foolery that he continues to keep seeing that's going on in these streets that just don't make no sense. But you know what? Coach Walker going to start this thing off with doing something a little different. Coach Walker owes someone an apology. Yes. Yeah, guys, Coach Walker owes an apology. I was on She Loves D about a week, I think what was it, last week I was on She Loves D. So if you haven't checked her out, make sure y'all go over there, tune in, tap in, tell a friend of a friend. Go over there and tap in with the young lady and go ahead and support her. She's a phenomenal young lady. She's putting out some great stuff. Miss Timona is doing the daggone thing, letting everybody know her viewpoints on certain topics that come across her desk as far as how she feels. And, you know, everybody has an opinion to a lot of these things. Some we may agree, some we may not agree, and that's understood. But I said on her show, I went on her live show, and I was talking about the whole Fred McNair and Andre Johnson and Ed Reed, as far as who's going to be the next head football coach over the program. And you know, Coach got to talking about I got to talking about the football field over there and how the football field was not complete. The new field was not laid down for the team, in which I was wrong. I stand corrected. That field has been laid down. My apologies for misspeaking on that. So any of my Texas Southern fans out there, please forgive Coach. I do apologize for stating that, in which that did not happen. But we're gonna jump off in this thing. We're gonna talk about this Grambling State situation right quick, because Grambling State has lost two phenomenal athletes on that offensive side of the ball that has gone into the transfer portal that has now been picked up by new programs. And all of this has happened since head coach Hugh Jackson was let go. And now that the new head coach, Coach Mickey Joesph, is now the head coach over the program. Now, Mickey Joesph, as many of you know, coached over at LSU. He coached two phenomenal athletes that are in the pros now. In the LSU program, as well as he was the interim head football coach at Nebraska University. Now, he was a position coach previously at Grambling State University, who's coming back to go ahead and rectify this thing and get things moving in the right direction. Because I know a lot of you Grambling State fans out there was a lot, not a little, but a lot pissed off with how things went on with Hugh Jackson. Some folks were, you know, pretty excited about how things were moving, but they just couldn't take them losses. And them losses being in that Bayou Classic. I guess any coach that come into that program that don't make sure they got their I's and T's dotted and crossed when it comes to coaching that Bayou Classic, I guess it's kind of like the Magic City Classic. You can't come in there and play no games with that, because you guys remember Dr. Hill Ely got let go after he lost the Magic City Classic to Alabama A&M consecutive years. So I'm just wondering, Coach Maynard, you lost that game over there. You lost that game past 2 years to head coach Eddie Robinson Jr. Are you skating on thin ice over there if you lose that game again this year? I'm just asking. I'm putting it out there early because, these things tend to just come up out of nowhere. I'm just trying to ask questions like, hey, look, I want the question put out there. It ain't even about being first, but this just crossed my mind as I'm talking about this because I understand how important these classes are to a lot of the institutions as far as them wanting to make sure that their team puts their best foot forward as far as with making sure they're able to win those classes. Those classes mean something to each school that are participating in those games. So understand that. But I'm asking the question as far as Coach Joesph goes. Are they going to allow him, being Coach Joesph, the opportunity to build the program? Because remember, you're losing two significant pieces on the offensive side of the ball. You got Williams, who rushed the ball for 873 yards, averaged 5.9 yards per carry, and Chalk, who rushed the ball for 695 yards, averaging 5.7 yards per carry. And both of these young men were key pieces on that Grambling State Tigers football team. Now, as I stated before, we've watched a lot of teams build, we've seen teams build themselves up over the past couple of years, getting themselves together. And one thing I'll say is that the previous head coach over at Jackson State University, Deion Sanders, he got, a lot of athletes into the program in which, made coaches and programs understand, hey, it's time for y'all to go get the athletes, bring them in so that you can make this thing a lot more competitive. So when people look at this thing, they understand what's going on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, Coach Prime did X, Y, and Z for. No, we're not getting into that. I'm not even going to talk about that. It's Christmas time. I don't need nobody trying to come take no gifts back and give me cold. I'm cool on all of that. And I don't need nobody trying to give me no bad wish wells going into the new year. I'm fine. I'm fine. We're going to leave that alone. But I would say this. We've seen some athletes flip their commitment from one place to the other. One young man in particular, I've been watching him since he played in Little League football until now. He's in high school over at Buford High School, who decided that he was going to take his talents. Instead of going to Florida State, he's going to go to the University of Georgia. Mr. KJ Bolden, the top recruit from Buford High School, he decided, hey, Florida State just wasn't it for him. He's going to go ahead, change up. He's going to go to the University of Georgia, which is right here in Athens, Georgia, and which he's going to be able to play in front of his family and friends. But the one thing that really intrigued me about his decision as far as making that change was the comment that he made when he decided that he was going to make that flip. And there was an article that I saw said exploring potential reasons for a five-star recruit switch by Andres Lenoris, in which it was stated, and I quote, this was in the article, it stated, my decision came down to just the place I felt like could get me to the ultimate goal of playing in the NFL. It's not about the NIL, the facilities. It's about relationships, development. I prayed with my family. I'm going to start my future off by staying home. You know what? I got to salute that young man on that. And the reason why I say it is because there's not a lot of athletes that have the cachet of skills that this young man has, where he can honestly say to himself, there's some things that's missing in my toolbox that I need to have added before I go ahead and bust a move and go elsewhere to show exactly what I can do. Now, don't get it twisted. This young man is definitely a dog out there on that field. And trust me, don't piss him off and act like, he's not to be accounted for. Because when I watched that young man play in that Grayson game and he sat there on that sideline and told them folks, don't kick me the ball again after he took one to the house, that let me know right off the rip, this young man ain't playing no games with him. And trust me, he's going to get out there and do the daggone thing for the University of Georgia. They got them a great recruit that they just picked up in this young man. So watching him, really get it together and see exactly how everything, unfolds for him, it's definitely going to be something phenomenal to see. And I'm definitely going to be watching out for this young man to see exactly how things take off for him as he continues to keep going up that ladder in the collegiate realm, as far as with him playing collegiate football and where else he goes on after that. I believe this young man would definitely get to where the ultimate goal is which go play in the NFL, because he just has that it factor to do it. Now, this other young man who listen, this young man left America, trying, holding their breath, so to speak, because they didn't really know, like, wait a minute, this guy, he say he coming. He say he coming. You know where the phrase comes. We coming. Hey, we coming. Coach Deion Sanders, they telling everybody they coming. I mean, look, this young man's a five-star recruit from IMG. The young man can ball. Like I said, the young man can definitely get out there. He's gonna be that. He's gonna be that one that they're hoping to come in there and protect Shedeur Sanders' blind side. Now, after watching that young man get knocked down 55 times, when I say knocked down, I mean it's sacked 55 times in the season. I had him like for 50, like right at 50. Everybody else got him at 55. Now, 55 for me is the 33, the first season he was at Jackson State, and then 22, the second season he was at Jackson State University, where he had a running game. When that running game slowed down, a lot of that stuff, as far as him dropping back, throwing the ball as many times as he did, yes, he did. He wasn't getting sacked as often as he was. But again, like I said, there's a lot of pressure on this young man to get in there and try to change up some things. And I want to see what Miss Jordan Seaton can do for the Colorado Buffaloes this upcoming football season. And the reason why I'm touching on him is because some things were said out there when the young man didn't sign on early signing day that kind of bothered me. And I needed some time to really roll back the raw emotions as far as like a coach and a dad, where who do some of these analysts think they are, where they want to pop off about what a kid is looking to do because they didn't jump at the opportunity immediately to go sign with Deion Sanders. Don't get me wrong. Deion Sanders is a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he's going to shine the light bright on anything that he touches. I give him that. But you analysts have gotten a little bit out y'all freaking minds as far as we're trying to just kick these kids down to make them feel some kind of way because they want to make sure they dot all their I's and cross all their T's to make sure that they understand what they're getting themselves into. This is where they want to go to continue their collegiate sports career. It's not about you, and it ain't about Deion Sanders. This young man's a 5-star recruit. He can make it anywhere. And the funny thing is, because he didn't sign immediately with Colorado, y'all bumped him from being the #1 recruit to #2. Come on, guys. What are we really doing here? So this really lets me understand that this whole ranking bit, this ain't nothing but politics, man. Are y'all that hung up on politics as far as with these kids who get out here and bust their hump to do what they need to do? I'm like, yeah, you get to sit there with a chart, with a clipboard and say, what you think or what you feel. But let's honestly be real here. What about them athletes that really go out there and kick behind that you give no stars to? Let's talk about that. You forget, I do sit in the stands and watch some of this stuff sometimes. I do be at some of these events, and I plan on being at them when they kick off in 2024. I'll probably be at a few where y'all be sitting there like, uh-oh, yeah, this dude is here. I just seen some of the stuff he said. Yeah, and ask me any question you want to ask me, and I'll give it to you. Okay? We ain't gonna worry about that. But like I said before, this ain't about me, but this is about the young man. This is about this young man getting out there, being able to do what he loves to do and have fun doing it. And sometimes you gotta sit back and really dig in and understand what you're getting yourself into. And this young man finally decided he's going to take his talents to Colorado. Salute to that young man. I'm proud of, he was able to make that decision with his family, with his dad, because a lot of these folks talk a little greasy. I think the young man's father is in his life. Y'all need to go double check that as well as far as with family values, how his family is structured, not just be out here talking just reckless and crazy. Make sure y'all got all that on point, man. I mean, that's father figure, somebody that's there for him. Make sure y'all understand that, man. I'm like, come on, guys, quit chopping these kids down because they're not going a particular way. So like I said, y'all want to get greasy? I'm about to give y'all something to think about. I ain't gonna give it to you this time. I'm gonna give it to you in the next one. But we're gonna keep pressing forward with this thing, though. Yeah, coach on one. Coach that, coach on one. Hey, Christmas time. I'm a little perturbed right now. My kids to flat my pockets, boy, like 4 flats of my daggone truck right now. It's almost like I gotta go buy another pair of daggone tires, which I had new tires on the truck now for about 2 weeks. It feels like I gotta go kick out some more money for more tires. And then, matter of fact, I probably gotta get tires for the wife car too, for as much money I spent on Christmas. But you know what? It's gonna be okay. Because you know what? Next year, they're going to get some checks. And them checks they're going to get, they ain't going to like them. They ain't going to like them. Matter of fact, it's going to kind of be like how back in the day where you could go ahead and collect cans and take them to the store and cash them out. You got like 10 cents per can. I mean, in some areas of the country, you can do that. Some areas, you can't go collect cans like that. They kind of did it based on the weight of the cans that you had when you brought it to the place to go ahead and turn them in. But I'm just saying, guys, look. Some of these kids got a little out of control with these lists, boy. These lists is just out of control. I'm just saying. But you know what? We're going to move on from that. We're going to move on to this. I know, like, hey, any of your parents out there, y'all feel that way? Raise your hand with Coach. Raise your hand and say, hey, this is getting out of freaking control. Just raise your hands with me. That's all. Talk to Coach. Make Coach feel a little better. That's all I'm talking about. But this situation here with this I'm trying to figure out the best way I can put this because this Texas Southern coaching situation really, something got to be done with this. I'm trying to understand that if you got an athletic director, a vice president, whoever that's signing off on this thing saying, yo, it's a go, and all of a sudden you got a committee want to come in here and talk, we don't want to go with that. We kind of want to go with something else. I mean, listen, guys, I understand everybody wants to, they want to get an input as far as with, what they think a field may be best suited for the program. I get all of that. But what bothers me with all of this is the fact that you got individuals here that don't quite understand that you have to really understand what you're getting yourself into. Here's my point. Texas Southern several times have gone 0-11 in the season, right? So when you look at the numbers as far as the people that's coming in, your patrons that's coming in to the games, your fans that's coming to the games, fans show up for big games. If the team is currently winning or they things are moving in the right direction, they might show up for a big game. But then you have the other games where nobody really show up at. And people, they talk about all the time the number of fans is in the stands for a lot of these HBCUs. And you got to understand, fans coming to the games, that's your revenue, man. So if you don't have them coming to the daggone games to see what you got out there on the field, you need to ask yourself a question. Why is that? Now, why throw the number of fans that's coming to the games out there to you guys? Because I'm trying to understand. I'm going to start with Andre Johnson first. Andre Johnson is a phenomenal athlete. He's quiet. He's very quiet. He's very subdued, very laid back. And I haven't heard nothing about him coaching anywhere. I mean, I've heard, he's been the ambassador over at the Houston Texans. I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're still doing your NFL thing. And this kind of brings me back to the field, in which, yes, the field was donated to Texas Southern by the Houston Texans. Phenomenal. Nothing wrong with that. However, my issue, my gripe is this name popping up now because of what was done for the university? And was it done for them, out of the kindness of their heart? I'm asking questions. I'm not assuming anything. So before anybody gets told, oh, coach, you assuming. No, I'm like, let's look at this thing completely. Let's pull the blinders back a little bit. Let's really look at all of this and get an understanding of what's happening here. Because, if we can't ask questions, then what can we do? Because the thing is, we've never heard anything about this man wanting to, be a coach or anything like that. I'm like, if you wanted to coach, why is it every NFL ball player all of a sudden now, since Deion Sanders left, Jackson State got to be the next head coach or something? Why can't you guys come in and help out at a position? Y'all see a lot of these positions need help. I'm like, why can't time be lit for that? I'm just trying to understand here. I'm like, is it about being in control or being able to move the needle how you wish? Or is it, this is something you really wanted to do? Because like I stated before, being a coach, man, this is either something you want to do or it's something that you just, if you're not doing something because you love it, you're willing to do it for free. Not saying that's what you guys got to do, but what I'm saying is that if it's not something that you're willing to do for free, then it's not something that you really want to do unless you're getting paid to do it. Now, all I'm saying to you guys is this. The program itself got a nice couple of pieces that's still there, in which they need a coach that's going to be able to come in there and help them get things in order. If I'm not mistaken, Fred McNair was the coach that was in waiting to be announced as the new head coach. I guess paperwork or whatever need to be signed off. What's the holdup? Now, I get it. I know everybody talking, well, what about Ed Reed? Listen, I love Ed Reed as a ball player. I loved everything that he did as an NFL, as a Hall of Famer. Phenomenal guy. Phenomenal dad. Like I say, take time with kids, go out to the park, work with them on their games, coaching them up as far as things that they need to do. I've met him in passing one time. I've watched him from afar as far as like certain things that he do, because a lot of times I see these guys out, I don't want to go running up on them to, hey, that's so-and-so. And the crazy thing is, when I saw him the first time at my park that I coach at, I slipped up and said it loud because it threw me off that time. Like, dang, Ed Reed, they're like, that Ed Reed. And somebody like, "What'd you say, coach?" I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "No, you said every." I'm like, "Oh, crap. My bad." So then, of course, everybody went running up, wanting pictures, whatever. And he's just trying to get out there, get some time in with his kid. So I say that to say, I'm not saying that, Ed Reed wouldn't be a good choice for a coach. But right now, I'm saying with what took place at Bethune-Cookman, I feel like that wound that was on the arm that was left down there, as far as the blow up and everything that took place, me personally, I'm like, let that heal just a little bit. Now, if there's somebody out there that's willing to go ahead and give him an opportunity for him to do his thing as a head coach, give it to him. Heck, I've even seen him work with some kids that was, one young man in particular that went to high school with my middle son playing football over there. Got him out there, he went to the University of Miami, did some phenomenal things. He made sure that young man was taken care of. He's for the kids. But I'm just saying right now, it's just like, what's really going on? Because you got to keep in mind, people don't forget things that are said. They tend to, sit back and look like, wait a minute, you said this, what's going on? So that kind of, it kind of goes different ways. So you got to understand what's going on with that. So all I'm saying is that what's really going on here? Is it that you really want to be a head coach, or is it something else? Because right now it's like you're going from place to place to place to place to place, trying to get your name out there. There's a lot of different spots that's open that's not in the SWAC. That's not Division I. There's Division II programs that's open right now. I believe Morehouse. Who is it? Morehouse. I don't know if Benedict might be still open, and there might be a couple other spots that might be open looking for coaches, or better yet, position coaches. I'm just saying, like, what's the end game here? I mean, that's the only thing I'm trying to understand. But again, when I look at what's going on with Texas Southern, and I stated before, they went 0-11 before. The last time that Texas Southern had a winning season, if I'm not mistaken, was in 2000, in which they went 8-3. Now, I believe one point in time, I think back in 64, something like that, 53, 64, they went 9-1-1. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, we got to understand exactly what it is that we're doing. Because right now, there's kids. I'm calling them kids, but they are adults. But they're not adults that can really use their mind to the capacity that you would expect them to, as far as like, okay, these are the things that we need to do as far as we're getting business handled. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, we got to sit down and say, hey, listen, we're hurting the kids. This ain't about the adults right now. Right now, you're losing the confidence of your athletes in the program because the program is not getting things in order. This should have been handled already. You should have been able to get yourself situated for you to get those athletes coming into the program during early signing period, as well as now you have the transfer portal that's open, and which is getting ready to close in less than it's getting ready to close in less than a week. So what are we doing? Something's got to change. That's all I'm saying. Something has got to change. I get it. Everybody wants to bring in the splash hire. And I'm going to say this again. There's only one Deion Sanders that's going to be able to shine a bright light on something and make that thing turn into something that many did not expect it to be. But I want you to understand one thing. You can't sit here and act like Jackson State wasn't bringing in the numbers, even though they were not having winning seasons before he got there. Let's make sure we're clear on that. Because we're not going to sit here and say, hey, well, Deion Sanders came in here. No. Jackson State was bringing in over 30,000 plus folks into their stands, averaging that before Deion Sanders got there. So we're not going to sit and act like Deion Sanders did this himself with 40,000 plus coming to Jackson State before, as if they didn't have the numbers coming in there. We're not doing that. We're not going to do that. All I'm trying to get everybody to understand is, listen, you're going to have to build your program up in order to get your program to go where you want it to go. Look at what Eddie George is over there doing at Tennessee State. Eddie George has been complaining for a minute about the numbers as far as people coming into the stands to come watch Tennessee State play. What they fail to understand is Tennessee State had not had a winning season, and God knows when. But now you start winning and they start seeing change happening within the program. Guess what? You're starting to see an uptick in them numbers every year. Yes, this year he had a winning season. I think they were 6-5. So give him his props on that. But all I'm saying is that, guys, we have to understand that this ain't microwavable where you can just go ahead, put it in there 30 seconds, and it happens. It's not going to happen that way, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen that way. Like I said, Deion Sanders is a phenomenon, no doubt about it. He has the cachet of folks to come in there and help out, do whatever it is that he needs help with doing. Just like I'm sure Andre Johnson as well as Ed Reed. But the question still remains. What are we trying to do with the program? Is this about you or is it about the kids? Fred McNair, head coach Fred McNair. Let me say it again. Head coach Fred Air McNair. That guy was a baller, and he's going to be able to come in there. He's coached at Alcorn State. He played at Alcorn State, and dago, he played a little bit of time professionally as well, if I'm not mistaken. And he can come in there and get your quarterbacks trained up to help riddle some of the issues that we've seen with quarterbacks over the past couple of seasons. Every year he's brought a kid into his program and had that young man out there balling out, doing whatever it needs to be done for them to move the ball down the field to have a winning season. So all I'm simply saying to you guys is this. Is this about your splash hire or is this about moving your program forward? Because your splash hire has to have the cachet of people to come in there that's going to be able to do what needs to be done to coach these kids up for them to win, to get the fans to come put their behinds in the stands. And not only that, but I'm not even going to get the money because that ain't even none of my business. I don't even care nothing about that. But all I'm simply saying is it's time for us to use our heads a little bit, guys, and get off the crazy, get off the crazy couch for a minute. That's all I want. I just want everybody to understand this. A.D. Granger, I need you to get this fixed like immediately, sir. This needs to be taken care of. This needs to be rectified. Like I said, I understand you hold the stroke of the pen. We're waiting to hear what you're going to do. I'm sure you can get this rectified. Let's get this taken care of. As far as the people that's on the committee that's trying to figure out what's going on, I'm not here to bash or badger you guys. I'm just simply saying, listen, it's time for us to get out of our own way and understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And right now, we're not accomplishing nothing because you have this thing sitting at a standstill because you want what you want. If that is the case, I'm hoping it's not the case, and I'm hoping we can get this resolved and Fred McNair is over there to coach that program. And lastly, you guys give the man the opportunity to fix what's been going on with the program that has been going on for so long. Not saying Coach McKinney was a bad coach. I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes you got to rid some of the madness that was there prior to you getting there so that you can get things back in order. Because remember, athletes come in with a mindset of where, hey, the previous coach allowed us to do it. So they think it's going to go down like that. So, yeah, you're going to see some folks get shook up a little bit, and they ain't going to understand. Hopefully they're ready to come in there and work and do what needs to be done with whoever the coach is so they can move this program forward. And last but not least, for all my presidents out there. Well, I know I said a lot. Ooh, child, I said a lot. Mr. Vaughn, he was on HBCU game day. I believe he covers things for FAMU football. He said a mouthful. And I don't know how many folks out there actually echoed his sentiments, but I'm going to echo them right now because it's high time that it's done that way. Presidents, allow these coaches to coach. It ain't about you. You're supposed to be taking care of the school. You take care of the university, the academic sides of this thing. Let the coaches coach. It makes no sense you get good coaches in your program and all of a sudden you want to come in here and put your foot in your mouth to screw up the daggone pooch. You ain't got to do it. Excuse me, you don't have to do it. Let the coach coach. It's not about you loving and, falling in love with the coach or whatever have you. You're going to get all the love you want when the people come in there talking about, man, hey, Coach so-and-so just coming in here, boy. He done turned this thing around. He done did this, that, and the third. Let that coach coach. Let them coaches coach. I don't understand why everybody feel like they got to get in the middle of a coach coaching the program when the coach is bringing daggone financial stability into your university. But you want him gone because I don't like that, man. Shoot, that sucker there, boy. He go, my daggone nerve. Who he think he is? Everybody want to come in here and talk about Coach Walker. Coach Walker ain't nobody. That boy ain't did nothing. Hey, I run the ship over here. Really? Well, see how running the ship happen, how it goes when your daggone resources go out the door. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Understand what's going on. Be willing to stand up for your coach and make sure your coach has what they need so that they can be productive with what they're trying to be productive with for the university. This ain't like how it is with a Power 5 where the money that's coming in goes directly to the sport. The money coming back to the general fund at the university. So at least give the person what they need to move the daggone needle forward where it needs to go. That's all Coach said. I ain't saying nothing more than that. I ain't said nothing more than that. But you know what? I got to say salute to all the coaches out there that's been able to get their recruit going on. FAMU busting it out. Jack State busting it out. You got Southern, they doing some things, as well as Prairie View and Alcorn State. They busting out. Alabama State, they doing some things, as well as Alabama A&M. So y'all look forward to me getting ready to go and drop that content. But I had to get this off my chest because, like I said before, I did a lot of work trying to put this together for y'all before Christmas hit. And I'm just, trying to get all of this stuff back together and so I can give it to you guys. But like I said, happy holidays to everybody. Love you all. Hopefully, I see everybody over the top of the year. Hopefully, everybody's safe and sound. Hey, hopefully your Christmas was good. Hey, leave your comments below. Let me know how your Christmas was. Just talk to Chris. Talk to Coach. Tell him what time it is. Everything I done went through. I've been trying to fight through this daggone holiday, and as you see, I'm still smiling and grinding. So we're gonna keep on doing what we gotta do. But guys, once again, like I always say, be the one and lead.